Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Lupin!
You know what I'm most... Oh, pillow. You know what I'm most sad about throughout this entire series? That it didn't have that original series, like, groovy, like, oh yeah, Lupin, like, theme that used to play.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the staple Lupin theme, that's the opening theme to this.
Lupin! Lupin!
Yeah. Lupin the Third. Yeah, it's a jam. It's a jam.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Screen Weens episode 143. I'm London.
I'm Thomas.
We talk about movies and TV shows and politics.
Yes.
Louder with Crowder 2, where we're not the worst.
Yeah, we're just loud.
Joe Rogan 2, because he's dead.
Is he?
I won't say I wish, but no.
I see. But, yeah, what have you been up to this week?
Let's see. I saw the new Cronenberg. Crimes of the Future just came out.
How was it?
I really liked it. It feels... You know how Videodrome and Existence have pretty similar, like, kind of vibes, and they're going for similar things? Same thing with this. This feels like, kind of like if this was like a trilogy or something. It feels like it's encapsulating the same stuff.
Is it like smartphones now?
It's a lot of tech. A lot of it is like chairs, smart chairs, smart chairs, smart beds. It's about like repression of evolution. It's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I think that the visual design of it's really good. I think the like shot composition is pretty weak. It seems like the cinematographer isn't very well known. I'd never heard of them, and they don't seem to have a ton of like bigger movies under their belt. And it just doesn't, I won't say like it was bad, but it just doesn't really mesh with the visual stylings of the movie. And it doesn't really have like a unified voice behind it. But everything else in the movie I thought was marvelous.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really, really dense. Like, I was thinking about it a lot afterwards. I mean, it's short, but it feels like long in a good way.
Okay.
It's an hour and like 40 minutes, but I was just like, a lot happens in this movie, and they talk about a lot of things. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And then let me pull out your Letterboxd app.
The Letterboxd app.
I watched Gerald's Game.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only Flanagan movie I had not seen outside of like some older ones that I like just can't find that are like maybe student films, or I can't figure it out. There's like 3 I can't find. I think it was not good. It's just like Flanagan up until like 2017. I just wasn't enjoying anything by him. But then like Haunting of Hill House I thought was good. I had a lot of issues with it, which I've talked about before. And then same with Haunting of Bly Manor. Have a lot of issues with it, but I like it. But it's like been getting better, and I think he's been getting more consistent. I think Midnight Mass is great. And I think I love Dr. Sleep.
I still haven't gone through it.
And I'm really excited for House of Usher, the next.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah. Mark Hamill's in it.
Oh, okay.
It's like all his returning. I do like that he just has the same people and all this stuff. Like, that's fun. Always, I do like when directors do that. It's fun. I thought Gerald's Game was pretty weak, but most of my issues with it probably come from just it being a Stephen King property. Not even like necessarily like it's a bad thing. It just seems like a lot of these ideas don't fit the medium of a movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
There's
the premise.
There's supernatural like elements that you're like, oh, is it real? Is it not? Scrap it. I don't think it adds anything to the movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's like really just feels like padding, even though I know it's not supposed to feel that way. I know like it was intentional and it was like it had meaning behind it. It doesn't feel like it has meaning behind it though. Like the movie is, I think, an hour and like 40 minutes, but I'm like, this premise is like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a good maybe hour movie in it because there are parts I really like. I think the performances are great. And like, you know what happens. The base premise.
Yeah, I know. The base premise is like this woman's having sex with a man and she's like bound to the bed and then he like has a heart attack and dies on top of her.
Yeah.
And she like spends a lot of time reflecting or whatever.
Yeah, and the way that it's her husband that dies.
Oh, okay.
And the way she reflects is like she sees kind of like visions of both. She sees pretty much herself talking to her and her dead husband's like kind of like ghost phantom talking to her. Like these visions of these people trying to help her out, but also like blaming her for things and helping her. Like that's really interesting. That stuff's really good. Everything else in the movie, I just wasn't a big fan of. And I think the last 10 minutes of the movie, awful. Like really bad. She starts like writing a letter to herself. Like in her head, and she's like, it sounds like she's just reading a creepypasta aloud, and like a bad one.
Yeah,
I think the ending is like really, really bad. Yeah. Other than that, I was watching a lot of Lupin and just working a lot this week, playing board games, doing same old. I caught up on One Piece.
Yeah,
and they just finished.
Did you read 1051?
I did. I did. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I
don't know how I'll feel about it when I reread like Wano as a whole.
Yeah, I can say I reread the last like handful of chapters and I liked it much better the second time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting because there's still some like pretty big question marks I have in regards to certain things that have happened that I'm not gonna.
But he's taking like a 4-month break, isn't he?
What?
I saw that. I thought that it said the next chapter's not coming out for like a couple months.
No, the next chapter is coming out next week.
Okay, I'm a liar.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty deep at the One Piece circles. I've not heard anything about a 4-month break.
Well, he deserves it.
He definitely does deserve it.
Oda needs to take a nap.
But I think if anything, he's probably going to copy his work ethic from Marineford, where like he stopped taking breaks for that because like we've only got He said he only wants it to be like 120 volumes, and that like kind of puts us about in where it is currently, like for about a Marineford size saga left, which
we're entering the end game.
We are, because the next saga is the final saga. He has stated overtly.
Oh, okay.
So we've only got a couple more years, so. Which is hard to imagine.
We only got a couple more years.
That's quick in manga terms, though. Yeah. That's pretty quick. But, yeah. So, like, probably, like, less... Because I don't know what volume they're on now. Probably, like, less than 15 volumes left, so...
Yeah, but I really, really liked, like, 1050 and 1051. I think were really, really good chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I've been reading Witcher, just off and on.
Mm.
Yeah. But it hasn't been that long, because I think we recorded Sunday, right? So
yes.
We saw each other like 5 days ago.
Yeah, true.
And we did watch the whole season of a show, so it's not like we...
Had a whole lot of expendable time. Yeah.
What about you? What have you been up to? And I've been playing more Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's been pretty good.
Yeah. Freaking, I've been watching One Piece with my roommate. We are finally making our way through the first act of Enies Lobby.
You guys are kind of booking it through that.
We are. He is really invested, and I feel bad because I'm like, because there's a lot of the time where he's like, One Piece? I'm like, no, just sorry, I can't invest today. And it's like, because I was like, I gotta watch 26 episodes of Lupin, so.
Did he watch any Lupin with you?
No, because for my disc So the discs that I have for part 2 from Discotech, they won't play on his PS4, but they'll play on mine. So I've just been watching them in my room. So, yeah. But I'll probably show him some of the movies and stuff. He's expressed interest in the first. So, because he likes the animation style from what he's seen of it. So I might, because I still haven't watched that one yet, but I haven't. So.
I really like that movie.
So I might sit down this week and maybe watch a couple Lupin movies with him. Since I feel like movies are probably an easier gateway than showing him like a series or something.
That's fair.
But yeah, so aside from One Piece and Lupin, just working.
Classic. Making that bread. Maybe we should become international thieves.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like bakers for bread. I was like...
International bakers.
Yeah, if only stealing were as fun and zany as it looks in Lupin.
If only we could make just like extremely realistic masks just out of the blue. Then just tear off like that.
Yeah. And if only I had a samurai who could cut steel and a guy who could shoot bullets out of the air.
A sexy lady.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. And then did I do anything? I don't think I really did anything this week. It was kind of just a busy week.
Yeah, I feel that. All right. Well, you ready to jump into Lupin the Third Part 2?
Yeah. Let me double check. We don't have any questions. I don't think we do, but I haven't checked in a bit.
What if there's just an entire
You have 60 questions. No, we do have a question though.
Oh, okay.
From Pierre. It says quest, but I assume it's questions. Yes, they're questions. Question 1.
Okay.
Is not attempting to save someone the same as actively harming them? I think he got this from, I think it was the second episode because he watched some of them where they're on the yacht or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a bunch of people that die.
Yes. That's the debut episode of this.
Okay. It was the first. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. Because it's got the Scooby-Doo setup where it's been 5 years. But, yeah. I think it depends on context. I
think in that context, they're actively just running away from an explosion. So I don't think stopping, if you have time, I guess, if you're not going to die, but I think self-preservation goes above that, I guess.
Yeah, because that's this is a bit topical and a bit of a touchy subject, especially with recent events, but let's say you're in a public shooting or something. It's is everybody who is present morally responsible to go and try and stop the shooter? Probably not. But I don't know, maybe one person would feel up to it and would try, and God knows what would fucking happen. But yeah, I think it depends. I think if it's more a situation where you're I don't know, walking by a bridge and somebody's hanging off and they're please help me, I fell, and you're just I don't know about that. Yeah, it's probably...
Maybe get better.
Yeah, it's probably not great. But, yeah, I don't know. Context.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2. When is the best time to tell someone news they may not be able to handle in their current headspace?
God, I honestly don't.
Pierre's just saying Tumblr memes at this point.
Oh, is that a Tumblr meme?
Yeah.
Unfamiliar, but...
There was this idea, there was a post that was
someone's
just
at their highest, you knock them down or something?
Well, no, there was just a post being are you able to handle some news in your current headspace or something? And people were what the fuck? That's much worse than just talking to someone. That's real bad to say. That's... How anxious would you be if someone was hey, it's like messaging someone, hey, when you get home, we need to talk. Like, that's just fills someone with anxiety. So just don't fucking do that.
Yeah, I think depending on, like, the context, and obviously, don't ever be like, hey, there's something that I should probably tell you that I'm not going to. Like, don't present it like that. But,
it's a mystery.
Maybe if it's something like, I don't know, I ate, like, the last fucking muffin or something, and then someone's having a real shit day, I might, like, sit on that for a minute, just because it's like, this isn't...
Until they walk and they're like, where are the muffins? And they break down crying. Like, I'm gonna die. I can't handle the world without my muffins.
And then I'd be like, yeah, sorry.
You're like, I don't know. It must have been Lupin.
I ate
And then you call inspectors anyway.
Lupin was here. He ate the muffins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, question 3. I've recently watched Harry Potter 10, Fantastic Beasts 3, Dumbledore's been acting sus. Please tell me 3 things you like about the Harry Potter franchise. Each, no sharing. Asterisk. If you are unable to provide at least 2, just admit you hate women and don't support any creative endeavors taken by them.
Yes.
I don't like J.K. Rowling. Oh.
A true feminist. I'm just kidding.
That's what the T in TERF stands for.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
True.
But, fucking... I guess I can... Do you want to go first?
No, I don't want to take any of yours. Go ahead.
Okay. I like how whimsical the early books are. I think it does a really good job at kind of like bringing like kind of like the modern day whimsy of like hobbits or something like that from like Lord of the Rings into kind of like a modern contemporary setting instead of like the typical fantasy setting. I think that has a lot going for it. I mean, from what I remember, I mean, I haven't been through any of the Harry Potter in a minute, but characters pretty likable, at least from the portion I've seen and remember. Because I notoriously stopped after Order of the Phoenix.
That movie's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I don't know.
Like, I don't plan on rewatching any of these now because J.K. Rowling's the fucking worst, but... Like a year ago, I almost rewatched them all.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably...
But I'm just like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, at some point I probably will. I don't know when. But, does it have to be the movies, or can it be...
It can be the book, it can be anything. It can be the Harry Potter Go game.
Alan Rickman is sexy. Okay.
There you go. Less sexy as Snape, but...
Oh, well, yeah, but, Snape's I mean, he's still Alan Rickman. If Adam Driver was playing a fucking slime ball, you know, you would be like, at least...
And people are like, Adam Driver should play in the prequel of Snape. I'm like, I don't want a prequel about Snape.
Yeah,
he's the worst.
That probably wouldn't be great. But yeah.
Was that 3?
That was 3. Okay. I said whimsy, characters, and I said Snape is sexy.
I like that it gave birth to this world that eventually gave us the Potter Puppet Pals. That was a fun enough little series. I like that it jump-started the careers of a few actors I genuinely enjoy. Mm-hmm. I think Daniel Radcliffe is not a horrible human being.
Yeah.
And he's really good in a lot of things. And he's going to be in a Weird Al movie. And without Harry Potter, we wouldn't have gotten Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al, most likely.
Probably not.
Oh, God, it's tough. I like the word Quidditch.
That's fair. I've got a fourth one.
Is it?
That there's a character named Lupin in the series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
His name is Lupin in the series.
Oh, well. He's Lupin to me.
And he's a werewolf.
It's just Lupin in disguise. He just whips it off.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Actually, in that same movie. Actually, the third movie I think is a great movie. Like, from just a technical standpoint, because it's a good director. I guess I like that it probably boosted Alfonso Cuarón's career. Like, he had already made good movies and big movies, but, like, making a Harry Potter movie, that's huge.
Yeah.
So,
it gives him some cred.
I guess that. And in that movie, I like the tree that just fucking hits people. The Whomping Willow.
Yeah.
Sure. There you go. Sure.
Epic. Well, that's our Harry Potter question corner.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Lupin.
Yeah.
So you watched the dub?
I did.
Man. So apparently when the dub came out, people did not like it.
I can see why, but they're wrong.
Yeah. Well, so this came out late 70s. I think it was like 78 to 80.
Yeah.
Was like the show run, because it was like 155 episodes or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And then the dub came out like in the
2003.
Yeah.
Before I was reading up on this, there were 2 episodes that were dubbed in like the 80s. Episode 145 and episode 155, I think. And those are the 2 episodes that were directed by Miyazaki before he made Castle of Cagliostro. So they dubbed those while they were making the movie, I think. And the dub actors for those 2 episodes are the same dub actors for the movie.
Okay, I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know who dubs them in that. Is it the same?
I don't think it's the same people.
Okay.
Well, like Michelle Ruff, I know. I think she was like 18 at the time.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because I know that there's been like a variety of actors to portray the characters throughout the various different parts in the series. Like I know Sonny Strait, who is probably most famous for playing like Krillin and Usopp in like the Dragon Ball and One Piece dubs, and he does a bunch of other stuff too. But he does Lupin in some incarnations, and I know that those like more adult centered movies are have like a different actor playing Lupin as well. But yeah, I'd say that this guy's my favorite out of what I've heard.
For Lupin?
Yeah, for the dub that we watched, because
that's Tony Oliver, and he does most of them, and he's done it for a while now. I think he's still like the dub guy for everything. And I think he was the dub for the Lupin the first.
He was, because when G Kids released that trailer, I was like, oh, cool. Because I like the dub cast.
Pretty much all the dub casts for this are my favorite incarnations of those voices.
Richard Epcar kills it as Goemon.
Yeah, and I fucking love the voice actor for Zenigata.
Not Goemon. Fucking Jigen. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Zenigata's voice
Zenigata is
iconic.
So fucking funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I think Lupin the Third Part 1 we watched over a year ago now at this point, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And I don't remember most of it. But I remember enjoying it overall.
Yeah. I can tell you, I remember the first episode, Lupin is on fire, because it's the racing episode. I remember the episode with, I don't know that guy's name, like Pyre or Pyro? Pykel. Yeah, the fucking fire guy who's like indestructible or whatever.
Or no, that's is that the magician?
Yeah, he's like a magician.
He returned. They made a movie. I still haven't watched the movie. Where it's like Pykel's return. It fucking sucks, apparently.
It doesn't surprise me, because that episode kind of fucking sucked.
I'm like, oh, good, they're bringing back that guy.
Yeah, and then I remember an episode where like there's like a woman who's like in a flower field, and she was like experimented on, so she needs the flowers, but then like Lupin falls in love with her. I only remembered that one because there's like an episode with the Loch Ness Monster in this one where the intro kind of reminded me of it, because they're like on a boat and they see Fujiko and he's like, oh, Fujiko, and then she's like involved in some other shenanigans.
Yeah.
But so those are the only episodes from part 1, the Green Jacket era, I really solidly remember. But I'll probably go back and watch those at some point, maybe.
I'm probably going to watch at least the rest of the dubbed episodes of this one. Mm-hmm. Pretty swiftly, I think, because they dubbed up to 79.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably watch the rest eventually as well.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if we'll ever get around to covering the rest of this particular part.
Yeah, I feel like we'll probably next thing we'll do the first 25. We'll do the first season of part 3, and then part 4, 5, and 6 are all just single seasons. So
yeah, those are the ones I'm real excited for because I hear those ones are real good.
Yeah, I'm probably the most excited for the woman named Fujiko Mine, the mini series one. Mm-hmm. Because I really want to watch that one, and then there's 3 tie-in movies afterwards.
Yeah,
that are, I know. I think that show is just supposed to be darker.
Yeah, no, those are the more adult kind of where there's a lot of drinking. There's a shot of Fujiko smoking pot in one of them. Yeah, and I've seen some clips from them, and yeah, they're pretty hardcore, but it's pretty cool.
And Lupin's a series that a property that I'm completely fine if they want to be more lackadaisical and easygoing, or if they want to go extreme. I'm kind of whatever. Yeah, both of them both work.
Yeah, because I remember in the original series, it was obviously it's not dark, but it's
darker than part 2, definitely.
Yeah, because they shoot people and kill them kind of nonchalantly.
Yeah. And in this, it's there's some explosions, but they're not, and they legitimately are just I'm not going to kill anyone. Mm-hmm. Which I do like this different character moments and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say overall I like part 2 better. I think storytelling wise it's better. I feel more of these episodes are going to be in my memory. Mm-hmm. And I do think the dub, for the most part, is amazing. It's very fun. Unfortunately, it is from 2003, so there are some iffy parts, and that's not just from the dub. There are just some parts that are just why did they animate this?
Yeah. Yeah, there's that one whole episode where it's fucking that had me raising my eyebrows oof, where Lupin gets into the house full of women and he's oh yeah, this is paradise, and then turns out they're all cross-dressers at the end, and they're trying to convert an army of cross-dressers or something. I was
yeah, and some of the language they use in that is a little rough. There's a couple of the last episodes where they use some transphobic language. There's a part where Zenigata uses the slur for native Alaskans, and but that one I don't think is that big of a deal because it's from 20 years ago, and that's not a word that most people nowadays consider a slur besides the people in these marginalized communities. So, as long as we learn from language and not say these things later.
Yeah.
But then there's also I think going into Lupin blind, you're kind of watching the intro, you're just is Lupin just sexually assaulting that woman? But the relationship of Lupin and Fujiko, once you've seen a couple episodes, they're actually just together for the most part. It's this off and on.
I mean, it's toxic, but
it's not he's not actually assaulting her in the that sense. There are a couple episodes the last episode, he's just
he probably
with his binoculars.
Her
and there is some sexual harassment just to other women that I'm just what the fuck? Which I do think has definitely subsided more in the more recent years. That Lupin is definitely still a womanizer and loves women. But I feel the last 10 years of movies, I've never seen him with he's actually a gentleman thief. He's not like he's like boom boom, like the eyes come out. He's like whoa, but he's not. I'm gonna sneak into a room.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it. That last episode we watched, that's a rough one. There's some.
What the fuck even was the last episode?
To be or Nazi be. It's the Nazi episode. Did you watch that one?
That one was like really. That one wasn't the last one.
It's episode 26 on Crunchyroll. It is.
Oh, then Crunchyroll definitely fucked up the order because I was looking at the Wikipedia and I was following my discs and yeah, that's not the last one's like. I think it's the one where fucking Jigen gets a love interest.
That was episode 25. Hold on.
On the third. 32.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess they might have just moved it around. I think. Oh yeah, this is episode 3. I think that episode might have been banned in America, so they might have just put it on the end of it. On Crunchyroll.
Wasn't the best episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of Zenigata's just literally. There's a lot of characters just sig-hailing in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And they make fun of Nazis in it. I think the last 5 minute of the episode's kind of funny because they find this treasure and it's just Hitler's report cards.
No, it's some of his shitty portraits, isn't it?
It's his report cards and then also his drawings and stuff. They're he's just hiding his shitty report cards. And they're like, didn't he want to be an artist? And he's like, yes, he fucking sucked at that too, pretty much. And they just throw it in the water. So that was good, but most of that episode I was just like, this is a rough last episode to watch for me, at least, because it was I think I guess the last episode you watched, then, the Jigen's Lupin, I think that episode's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it took a second to get in, but I really like the standoff between Jigen and Lupin in that episode. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, wait a minute. And Lupin, they do their
they shoot
coin trick. Yeah. What the fuck are they doing? But yeah, there were a handful of episodes that I think there were some that I think were pretty iffy. I don't know, the King Tut one.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
I like the part where he was dancing around.
Yeah.
That was about it. Because he was just like, woo, woo. And everyone was just like, Lupin, stop. Yeah. You're creeping me out now.
I do, there are parts of that episode I think are very funny. I like the idea that everyone's like, Lupin, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm gonna put the mask on. And immediately he's just haunted by a pharaoh. I'm like, maybe putting on a fucking sarcophagus mask or whatever. Maybe isn't the best idea.
Who would have guessed?
I just love how fucking they're so smart at some points and so fucking stupid at others.
Yeah. Something I kind of noticed about this series, it definitely falls into a formula a lot of the time. And there's some times where it's it feels like Lupin, it wants you to buy into Lupin's the master planner and he's got this he's able to get out of any corner. But a lot of the time it's usually due to the police or whoever is chasing him making a very, very obvious mistake. And it's okay. God, there was a specific example I had, but I forgot what it was. We watched a lot of Lupin.
Yeah. In quick succession, too.
Yes.
I watched, I'm pretty sure 16 of the episodes today. Because I watched, I think, 6 before going to bed last night.
I watched 18 of them yesterday, so I was like, oh, yep. Fucking... God, I don't remember what my example was, but yeah, it's something that felt pretty common.
Yeah. I feel like it would go off and on whether they want them to be smart or not, which I think was just kind of added to it, because which episode is this gonna be? Is it gonna be fucking stupid? like I think they do it. They do both ways in the episode with the master safe maker.
Yes.
That one I really like that episode. There's a lot of really funny parts to that one, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So he makes the safe, or he's breaking through all these safes, and this guy gets fired because of it. The master safe maker. But he's like, wait, I have my big mega safe. And he just goes and he's like, don't worry, it's going to be good. And they're like, sorry, it's already been broken into. And it's just Lupin lying.
Yeah.
And he just waits the 10 minutes. Over it. And then the guy's son shows up and he's like, oh yeah, break through my safe. And it's just an egg. Yeah. And he's like dying of poison. And he just like screams open sesame as like a last ditch attempt. And it just opens. He's like, no. And it's just like...
Yeah, that was strange. Although I hope at some point in this like 150 episode anime run that we get to see that character one more time, because I just want to follow through.
The little kid, like the younger kid.
Yeah.
I also just really like how like they talk. I'm not gonna argue with a fetus. Like, yeah. Like, that's the kind of humor I really like. And I like the weird topical stuff for 2003. A lot of people didn't like the dub because it's like, you're just saying weird references to The Simpsons when this show came out in the 70s. I'm like, I think that's really funny.
Yeah. No, I definitely picked
I think if you're going to dub something 30 years later, I think it's much more funny to add things from present day. If it's like, you know, if you're in a big space opera, I get not doing that. But in Lupin, I'm like, it's not, I don't think it's integral to the plot that it be based in the 70s. No. I really like that episode. I really, really enjoyed the episode where there is the guy with the Zeppelin and the diamond in his eye. Yeah. And he invites these great inspectors around. And he invites Sherlock Holmes the Third.
Yeah, they're all the thirds.
Yeah. And Sherlock Holmes is just looking at things with his magnifying glass. And he's like, some sort of eating utensil. It's just a fucking fork. He's like, very peculiar.
Yeah. Ugh, fucking.
That episode had a lot of really funny moments to me.
Yeah. Fucking, I really like the belt episode where the Christopher Walken guy fucking puts the belt on him.
That episode, I think, is probably the best episode of what we watched. That episode is so fucking funny.
Yeah, because it's got a lot of great fucking moments. It's got like the Zenigata moment where he like busts in trying to pretend to be Zenigata, then the real Zenigata comes in, and then
there's three, or like it's Jigen and Goemon. They're like, I'm Zenigata, and then they both get their mask pulled off, and they're like, come on, Lupin, to the real Zenigata to get him pulled away. Yeah. I'm Zenigata.
I was real, because I've seen the like dub clips out of context like compilations on YouTube.
And that episode's the one with Who Wants Chicken Nuggets?
Yeah.
And it's still out of context. He just fucking says it.
Yeah, he's just pedal to the metal, you know, just like...
Who wants chicken nuggets?
But it's like, yes.
And it to the point that this dub and I think it's why I like it, so much of it, I think most of it was written down. Like, there was an actual script, but so much of it just feels like people just shooting the shit and just, like, off the cuff. Like, yeah. Which I think adds to this. Like,
it definitely does. I don't think I would like this series. I mean, I'm sure I'd like it pretty good because it's Lupin and I like Lupin, but I think my enjoyment would be diminished a bit if not for just how fucking weird and zany and unexpected some of the fucking dub lines are. Because I would not have been laughing as hard at the fucking show.
There's a line. The show can sometimes get a tad bit misogynistic. Not just the characters, just like the show in general kind of feeling that way.
Yeah, for sure.
And they have an issue with like the only like women that are villains usually are like uglier women or bigger women or more masculine looking women. And they call women like bitch a lot, which is kind of annoying to just constantly do that. But one episode I laughed so fucking hard when they did it.
Is it the Fujiko's aunt?
Yeah, and there's like, you're an ugly bitch. I'm like, Jesus, dude. And Goemon's just like, how ugly is she? And Jigen's just like, thank God you asked. I've been making a top 10 list.
Yeah. God damn.
And I think it's more okay because it turns out it is just Fujiko.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I love how it's like because it feels like most movies, Fujiko like backstabs them, but it's over like a course of a thing. In this, it's like every other episode. Like Fujiko's just with them or she's against them until the very end.
Yeah, there are some times where like most of the time she's with them and will kind of like at the last second try to get away with it. But like there's some times where it's just like the episode starts, she's against them. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how she's playing it. Yeah. Which I found to be pretty funny.
The episode, it's towards the end, but where she's like in this super prison with the like dog missiles, like
the land sharks or whatever.
The land sharks. Where they have to break into the super prison and break out. I really liked that one as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun, like, running shenanigans.
I think it was the second episode that I watched, but the one where he's just, like, in prison and they put up, like, the screen while they go and rob.
Yeah, me, Pierre, and Joe were watching it, and Pierre was just like... He's like, when was this made? He's like, wouldn't it just be easier to put a tape in? I'm like, yes, but this is exponentially funnier.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, yep, Lupin's fine. He's just bouncing around.
They're just like pulling things out of a bag to put up this screen and then set up a projector.
Yeah.
Oh. Like, there is... I think that as the Lupin shows progress, like getting to like part 3 and then 4 and then 5 and then 6, I don't necessarily need like the zany humor of the dub anymore because I think like there's more compelling like stories and like animation and stuff.
Yeah. But
I think there is enough like visual comedy in this to still like if I watch the sub, I would still enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that part, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, just like he's got his like trying to make it look like he's naked behind the curtain, but he's just got his pant leg rolled up and he's like teasing it. Like I thought that was pretty funny.
And then he's like, "You need to buy me dinner if you want to see that." Goemon's like I think Jigen and Goemon both because they're both like more like quiet and like. I think they're really fun foils for Lupin, and when they do talk, it's so fucking funny. Because, like, I don't remember what episode it was, but Lupin was really horny, and he was, like, trying to talk to someone, and he was using Goemon as an example, and Goemon's just like, leave me out of your sexual fantasies.
Yeah. Fuck, yeah, I don't remember what episode that was,
but yeah, and I love Michelle Ruff as Fujiko.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, you know, I grew up with listening to her as Rukia, though. So every time I'm just like, before I even see a character, I'm like, I wonder who that is. They sound like Rukia.
Yeah.
And I also like that as the series progresses, sometimes when they're in disguise, they'll like put on a voice or they'll have a different voice. But a lot of the early episodes, it'll just be Lupin's voice or it'll just be Fujiko's voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the fuck do you, like, sometimes Fujiko's in disguise against them and they just don't know. It's like, she sounds the exact same.
Yeah, there was a couple points earlier on, like I think on the train episode, where fucking Zenigata runs into Lupin first thing, and it's just, he's literally just got like a curly red-haired wig on.
This is the one where he's like, hey man, he's the hippie.
Yeah, but like he's really not putting on that much of a voice. I'm like, Zenigata, like, there's an episode where he has delusions about Lupin, so it's
that episode's so good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one too. But it's like, I feel like he would have his voice locked down, like, where it's like, huh? And just like could recognize it on a dime.
He's in love. He's having visions of his lover. I don't know if you just immediately skipped to the next episode after each one.
I watched. I did with some of them, but I watched a lot of the next time.
Those are so good.
Yeah,
most of those are so good. It's like everybody hates me now.
Yeah. There's some pretty fucking funny zingers throughout those.
Everybody hates me because I'm just so cool and I collapsed our banking system. Like, there was literally one where he said that. He's like, this time, there's a bunch of inspectors trying to get me, but I'm too powerful.
Am I having, like, a fever dream? Was there, like, a bit from one of the episodes where, like, there's, like, a bee, and one of them was like, that's a good zing, and then they're like, they had to explain the joke?
I don't remember that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, and then in that Hitler episode, they're literally like, they just look at the screen like, this guy sucks.
Oh no, I think
so. I wouldn't be surprised if there was the B up.
No, I think that was a Twitch stream I was watching at some point.
Lupin streams,
dude. I'd watch Lupin stream on Twitch. Watch me rob this bank real quick. Just like, he would be the cocky motherfucker who would stream, like, himself doing crimes live and then just getting away with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, good episodes, but even in the episodes that aren't very good, I feel like there's at least a couple things that make me smile or chuckle or laugh out loud. Mm-hmm. And the more, interestingly enough, I feel like there was only... how many, like, Jigen-centered episodes were there? There was just, like, the final one, right?
Yeah,
There was a couple Goemon ones, though.
Yeah, there is Goemon's, like, revenge one, and then
the Rat Ninja or whatever.
Yeah. But then, yeah, I think it was only the one Jigen-centric episode. It's very much the Lupin show, for the most part, in this first season. And I don't know if that changes much in the fall. I assume it would, but you never know. But yeah, I definitely would like to see more. If I had one major note, it'd definitely be more Jigen and Goemon, and probably Fujiko too.
There's a couple movies that I found that, like, are more centered towards them, and I really like.
I know that some of the, like, spin-off movies are to the Fujiko series that are.
I think one of them's called Jigen's Gravestone.
Yeah, like, Jigen has a movie and then Goemon has a movie. And I've seen some of that shit from the Goemon movie, and he has, like, a sick-ass fight in it that's, like, hardcore. But, yeah. Fucking... Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of, like, other episodes that I really liked. I guess it would help if I hit just the fucking Japanese episodes. Oh, yeah, there's, let's see. The episode with, the wine, where it's like...
the Christmas episode.
The Christmas episode.
And then they accidentally steal a bunch of dolls. And they're like, oh, no!
So just toss them back out.
So, like, we're not assholes.
Yeah. Let's see. The fuck is Hell to Pay? I don't remember that.
I feel like the first, like, 8 episodes are mostly, like, fun enough, but I feel like there was a really strong point from, like, 9 to, like, 19, where there was just 10 episodes where I just felt like all of them were fucking bangers.
Yeah. Yeah, because episode 9 is the one where he meets the grandson of the Japanese painter.
Yeah. Which is a lie, made up by Fujiko.
Yes.
And then I thought that one was pretty good, but then the next one was the Christopher Walken.
Yes.
And that one I think is the best episode we watched. And I also think it's better than any of the Lupin, the third part 1 episodes too.
Oh yeah. For sure. I liked Lupin the third part 1. Like, I thought it was interesting to watch, but yeah, it really didn't have any super standout. Like, it's aside from maybe like the first episode for novelty, I wouldn't say that I remember any essential episodes from that series, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll go back and rewatch it and be like, oh yeah, that one's a classic.
The transforming episode where Lupin thinks he has the hide disease. Yeah. I think that episode's extremely good. And it's not even like, there are some funny moments, but I think it's just actually really good, like, showcase of Lupin's character. Like, there's literally a part where he's just begging his friends to kill him because he thinks he's murdering people.
Yeah.
And it shows that, like, he legitimately is a good guy. He doesn't want, like, to kill people. He doesn't want to hurt people. Like, I think that episode is, like, extremely good for, like, the opposite reasons that the other episodes are very good.
Yeah. I really liked, at the end of, that, grandson of the painter episode, when he, like, reveals to Fujiko that he, like, stole the stuff, and he's like, yeah, I have your check and the paint, but all I want is you. I thought that was sweet. And his weird...
They're legitimately, like, really sweet moments between the two of them, too. And, like, in that episode where he's transformed, she's like, I'm not leaving you.
Yeah.
But she, like, pulls a gun, she's like, I'm not gonna do it. Like, there's a lot. I think that episode might be my second favorite.
There's the episode where they think Goemon and Jigen died, and she's like, all right, Lupin, I want you to, if I'm gonna die, I want you to be the one to do it. And they're gonna, like, suicide pact. That was a little weird, but...
Like, that's definitely darker than I expected. I'm like, what the fuck? Especially because the rest of, like, the show is just pretty lighthearted.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
And I do like that, like, multiple times they showcase that Zenigata cares about them and they care about Zenigata. Or at the very least, Lupin cares about Zenigata and Zenigata cares about Lupin.
Scenes where he's like, oh, Pops, like, fucking at the end of the first episode, he thinks he blew up with the fucking yacht and he's super sad. And then
Pop shows up on a turtle.
Yeah, he's like, oh, the chase is back on, like...
The end game is they kiss. End game is they get married.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fuji.
I was real sad because I always saw the episode where they're like handcuffed together. I was really hoping that was going to be in this batch of episodes, but it wasn't. So I was like, fuck.
But we got the who wants chicken nuggets. We also didn't get the episode where they're like, I think they're both tied up in bags together or something like that. I remember seeing it in the out of context all the time.
Yeah.
So that just means that there's a lot more to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. Fucking. But yeah. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I think my favorite episode would be Who's Brooming Who? Which is the belt episode with the Who Wants Chicken Nuggets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think out of all of them, that was probably the one that made me laugh the most. So,
but there are a handful of things, and there are lots of like more creative things, like I think it's the third episode or fourth episode where they need to transport all the gold out, they make the car of solid gold.
Yeah, and they have that like person who's trying to like double cross them, who's like Lupin's insecure because everyone's like, "Wow, he's really smart." We don't even...
He's not that smart.
Yeah. What?
In the second episode, they steal the fucking statue of Jesus from Rio.
Yeah.
And then it blinks at them and talks to them. And Michio and Pierre were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I actually really liked that episode. Because the whole time I'm like, this is weird. But then that ending where he just like... swats the helicopters away and then just gives all the money back to the people and then just winks at them.
He's like, well, at least because most episodes end up with them like just losing the money.
Yeah. It's like, what did they do with that statue?
I'm like, it's just at their house. Because like, did they just drop it in the fucking ocean?
Yeah, like it's like... Because if that statue just sentiently, like, talked and was like, yeah, I can strike you with lightning and winked at me, I'd be like...
Why didn't you just join the team?
Can you help me with more heists? Jesus,
will you do crime? You died for our sins, but can you do crime for our sins? And then, that was...
Yeah. That's the same episode where they're, like, in prison through most of it, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, because that's the episode where they sneak... That episode's great.
Yeah, that one's probably my second favorite off the top of my head.
That's the second episode, too, because I remember the first episode being like, this is a fun little reintroduction, but I don't think... And it's like, special. They're fighting this weird metal man.
Yeah, it felt a little Marvel.
He had a funny little voice, But most characters in this have funny little voices. I just love 2000s dubs because they all sound so fucking stupid. But I think it fits so well with Lupin.
It does. I really wish that they would retroactively, like, go back and, like, dub the rest of this particular series. I don't think they will, but it would be like a dream come true. And then they might as well just dub parts 1 and 3 as well, because they're also the odd ones out.
Do 4 and 5 both have dubs?
4.
I don't think 6 has a dub yet because it just finished. Or was it a simulcast?
The dub aired on Toonami. It just doesn't have like a physical release yet. So yes, 4, 5, and 6, I believe, do all have dubs.
And are they all still this crew?
Yes, they are all still this crew. The Fujiko stuff is a different cast.
Oh.
And yeah,
that seems fine though because it's like a reworking of characters.
Mm-hmm. Although I think it'd be fun if this cast had done it, but
and it's like I think all this cast, I think all this cast are capable of doing more dramatic stuff because there are more dramatic episodes in this that I think they do shine pretty well in.
Yeah, but that and they do most of it, so it's like they've done like specials and movies and stuff that do lean into that kind of thing as well. But yeah, Lupin the Third.
Overall, I loved it. Like there are episodes that I was like, there's 2 Nazi episodes.
Yeah,
the other one I also was not a fan.
Yeah, it's an anime from the 70s. It's gonna happen.
The other thing that's like really annoying about that, I'm like, Japan made this in the 70s. They were part of the Axis. Like, you were the bad guys.
Yeah, it's like 30 years before this anime was made. You guys are doing some shit.
And you were doing a lot of war crimes, too, and killing a lot of... It's just very, pretty annoying. I'm not as frustrated when, anime does it now, because I'm like, okay, it's been 80 years.
And honestly, who even knows if the staff of this even fucking was engaged with that war at all. But
even if they're not engaged, you're like, you're still are part of a country.
At least do what most Americans do, where it's like, our country kind of fucking sucks, whatever. I'm hands off on this one. But
that just definitely just was like, when did this come out? I was like, just thinking about it mostly.
Yeah, this series is from 78, right?
Yeah, 78 to 80, I think. Yeah, because it was first 3 were all 70s to mid 80s, and then they didn't make another series until I think Woman Called Fujiko.
Yeah,
which was 2012, 2011.
Yeah,
so the rest have been made in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a movie. They did a special every year, but they didn't have a show. And I've seen most of those specials, and they're all... So many of those movies are so good.
I've
Lupin,
seen it.
I think, in general, is just an insanely consistent series.
Yeah. I've seen a handful of them from you, and I know that a lot of people don't like the ones that were coming out in the early to late 2000s.
And so far from what I've seen, I enjoy them quite a bit.
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot from that era, aside from maybe Lupin Zero or whatever it was called, Episode 0.
Is that the Zenigata one?
No, that's the one where it's this is our origin story, and they tell this origin story, and then at the very end to the reporter, they're actually, just kidding, none of that fucking happened. Which always made me fucking laugh. But
I remember liking that one quite a bit.
Yeah, because it's got the scene where him and because Jigen's working for somebody. He's a hired gun that's meant to kill Lupin, and there's that scene where he shoots at him, and Lupin jumps out of his disguise, and he's just in his red jacket, and he's they just form a bond over the course of it. And I think Goemon's also trying to hunt down Lupin in that. I know in the first series, Goemon starts off as an enemy to Lupin, and then joins his side in the part 1, the green jacket.
Yeah, and in the pilot film, he's if I remember correctly, the 8-minute pilot that they made.
Yeah.
He's an antagonist. But yeah, I think Lupin Part 2 is really, really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Oh, I just broke your thing. You're just a blur now.
Ah.
It's okay, we're almost done.
Yeah.
You're just a horrible blur monster.
Nah, it's nothing I'm not used to. But yeah, I'd say if you haven't checked out any Lupin before, you could probably just throw on any random episode of this, and there's like an 80% chance.
If you see his Nazis, maybe just skip that one.
Yeah, unless you like Nazi comedy, in which case get help. But yeah, Lupin the Third, the Second.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, but yeah, fucking. I don't know if I want to assign like a numerical rating. I could, but
yeah,
I would just
fine.
recommend it.
Yeah, I'm fine with not doing. Like, there are episodes in this that I would be like, damn, that's like some of the best Lupin I've ever seen. But overall, I don't. I would probably give it an 8 if I were to give it a numerical thing.
If I had to give it a numerical value, I'd probably give it a 7.
But we're not doing that. No.
Nope. We just recommend.
We just said the numbers.
Yeah.
But we're not doing that.
That didn't happen.
Okay. So I think it's at a 5 now that we do the bag.
Yeah, I think so.
First one's a 3.
Okay.
Second one's a 4. We're at 7. We're good.
Oh, so it just has to be 5.
Has to be 5 or less.
Or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next week it'll be 6 or less.
Okay.
Remember that. I should write that down somewhere. Okay.
So it gets less likely with each dice roll.
No, 6. What?
Oh, no. More likely.
More likely, yes.
Yes, I see.
It starts with a 4 or less. So you can only get a 2, a 3, or a 4. So it's pretty hard. But 6, it's pretty likely. 7, we're probably going to.
I just want to see how many items we have in here.
Well, we've only done 1, so I think it's still 10 more.
Yeah.
Because there was 5 of each of us and then 2 from Peter.
There's still a whopping amount in there.
Okay, I'll give you a couple options.
Okay.
We can watch the League of Legends anime. We can watch Arcane. We can watch the 2 Top Gun movies. That one you would have to go to the theater for.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can watch The Woman Named Fujiko Mine.
Ooh, can we please do the third option? Because those first 2 really did not sound appealing to me. I don't care if it's double back-to-back Lupin. I'm down.
That was not it was the other 2 were the plan, one of the other 2, because I feel like I need to watch Arcane. Everybody says it's good. We'll watch Arcane eventually. I'll pick it for the podcast. But I'm just on such a Lupin high, especially after watching this and talking about it.
I know it's like 24 episodes. I'd also be down to watch the trilogy of movies they made, but that's entirely up to you.
So I think the woman is only, I think it's only 12 episodes. I think it's only 5 episodes.
Oh, it might be 12 episodes. Yeah, because I know all of those are like, I don't know if they're like interconnected in the sense of like they reference each other, but like
they're in the same universe at the very least.
They're all like more darker adult takes on Lupin.
Yeah, it's 13 episodes.
Okay.
And then there are, I think, 3. I think it's Fujiko's Lie, Jigen's Gravestone, and the Goemon one.
Yeah.
Goemon's Blood Spray. Mm-hmm. And those are all like an hour. Like they're like pretty much just little like bonus episodes. I'm down to do that. You want to watch those as well?
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Let's fucking do this. I feel like this will be the high point of like Lupin. Like I will be like, this is my Joker.
Maybe.
I feel like next, and then we're gonna like, do you want to watch part 3 next? We're just gonna be like the next month. We're just like, let's watch Lupin.
Yeah, maybe. Fucking.
Next week you're just like, you want to watch the first 3 Lupin movies?
Yeah, let's just watch all the Lupin.
You don't know how fucking I'd be down for it. It's like, we're a Lupin podcast, sorry.
Remember the DC era? Well, we're entering the Lupin era.
Oh my god, do you know how much better that would be?
It would be so much better. It'd be a lot better. And we could do it.
Are you excited for Zack Snyder's Lupin the Third?
Oh my god. I'd watch it.
I would too.
I have that.
It'd be kind of bad.
I have that 70s live action that they did.
I want to watch. I've been trying to. I
can't find the newer one.
Yeah, I wanted to do a double feature like a year ago after we watched that of the 2 live actions.
Yeah. If you ever want, because I don't know if you can find that Lupin 70s like I remember looking for like illegal copies of it online and I couldn't find any. So if you ever want to fucking just watch it, I've got the DVD. So.
I think I'm going to try to find the newer one again so we can maybe do a double feature.
Yeah, if you do, let me know, because I'd love to just experience live action Lupin.
They're probably not very good.
Oh, dude, I'm pissed. Maybe I should save this for off camera. I forgot. I heard some devastating news about one of the cast members of the live action One Piece.
Brutal. Okay, we'll talk about this off camera, I guess. Yeah, so we'll see you next week. We'll talk about that. Hell yeah, Lupin. All right, bye.